Hi everybody and welcome to my channel. For today's video, we're actually going to be playing with a lot of new stuff from Wet n Wild. As you guys know, usually January, February is when the drugstore brands tend to bring a lot of new products to the market. So in today's video, we're going to be playing with all new from Wet n Wild. We have primer, foundation, concealer, some eye products, and I'm also going to be doing a tutorial in this specific look. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell so you're notified every single time I post. And now, without further ado, let's get started. The first one I have here is the Wet n Wild Impossible Primer. This is supposed to be silicone free, but it does have a silicone feel. It mattifies, it hydrates, it blurs the pores, and this one does have a little bit more of a thick consistency. So I'm gonna apply it to half of my face so that you guys could see the difference. I'll insert some footage that I take with my iPhone, and this one has a really strange consistency. So when you are applying it, it feels kind of like cold and thick, but as soon as it touches the skin, it feels really nice. It actually gives you kind of like a little bit of a cooling effect. I was very surprised the first time I tried it. I forgot to tell you, but a lot of these things I've been playing with them throughout the week so that I could give you a better review on them. It does leave you a little bit of that stickiness to the skin, and I'm guessing that is to make sure that everything adheres pretty good. Okay, so this is the side that I applied the pore filling primer, and this is the side with no primer. You are still able to see my pores, so I don't think it's very like pore filling. It does give you a very nice cooling effect, and yeah, this is what it looks like. Next, we're gonna go with the Wet n Wild Barefocus Tinted Hydrator. This one is a tinted skin veil. It has hyaluronic acid, it's squalane, it's oil-free, and it has a medium to sheer coverage. It's definitely buildable. I got mine in the shade light medium. It's supposed to leave the skin feeling very nourished, very moisturized. As per usual, I'm gonna do half of my face with a sponge and the other half with a brush, just so that you can see the difference in the coverage. And this is what 2 layers looks like. As you guys can see, it doesn't have a ton of coverage. It just kind of like evens out the skin tone, and it does feel a little bit tacky. So this is something that you definitely need to set with a powder. It's not completely dewy. It gives you more of a natural finish. As you guys can see, the lights do reflect on my skin. Now for concealer, we're going to be using the Megalast Incognito All Day Full Coverage Concealer. And I have it in 2 shades, Light Honey and Light Medium. And I didn't know which shade to get. For whatever reason, the Light Honey looks a little bit more in the pink side, and the Light Medium has a little bit more of that yellow undertone. They do come in 8 different shades. This one retails for $4.99. Today I'm going to be using both. When you open it up, this is the type of applicator that you get. It's kind of like a spatula, it's very thin. I'm gonna apply a little bit of Light Honey in the inner corner, and then I'm gonna go in with the other one. This formula, it's a little bit thicker. It's not as thin as other concealers that I've tried, but it does give you pretty good coverage. I don't know if you guys could tell, but it gives you such beautiful coverage, and it does give you a little bit more of that blurring effect under the eye. I really like the way that it makes my under eye look. I do have more of a creasy under eye, and I noticed that this concealer works very, very nicely. It's creamy enough, but it's not super thin that it kind of disappears throughout the day. It actually lasts a pretty long time. So that's one of the things that I was very surprised when I first tried it. Now I'm going to apply a little bit more just so that you could see how buildable it is, and I am going to go with the shade light medium. As you guys can see, it has a ton of coverage. It definitely brightened under my eye, but another thing that I really enjoy is that on this side you are still able to see my pores a tiny bit, but on the side that I went over with the concealer, you are not able to tell. So that's one of the reasons why I was so surprised when I tried this concealer. And I mean, it's $4.99. Like, are you kidding me? It works really, really good. And once I've applied the concealer, this is what it looks like. As you guys can see, this side, it's a little bit oxidizes a tiny bit. Not a lot, but you are definitely able to tell the difference between the concealer when you first apply it, whereas when it's been sitting for a little while. So that's something to have in mind when you're gonna pick out your shade. But other than that, I really enjoy the finish. It definitely has a full coverage. So if you are like me and you like very high coverage concealers, I think this one, it's pretty good. Obviously, if you don't want it to have as much coverage, or you don't want to apply as much as I did, you definitely would get coverage, but it wouldn't be as high, but it would still look very nicely. It does set into your lines, but you can grab your sponge and tap it just to kind of get rid of those lines. I'm gonna contour, bronze, and all that kind of stuff, and the next product that I have here is the Wet n Wild Brow Love Sensitive Brow Shaping Gel in the shade Brown. This one is supposed to help you tame the brows and whatnot. It has a very nice gel-like formula, but it's a little bit thinner. It's not as thick as your regular brow gel. This one feels a little bit more liquidy. I'm gonna apply it on this side. I did my regular soap brows. I have a tutorial on how I do my brows, so I'll link it up here. With this, I'm just gonna fill in a little bit the little sparse areas and kind of like blend out the marker that I use. I am not head over heels over this brow gel. I think it's nice, affordable, but I think that there are other brow gels out in the drugstore that are a little bit better. So now for the eyes, I actually picked up two other new palettes. This one is the 5-pan eyeshadow palette in the color Go Commando, and I also picked up one of their 10 eyeshadow palette. I don't know what shade this is. I'll insert it right here. This one actually is very similar to the Urban Decay Honey palette, so I'm also going to compare them to so that you guys could see if in fact they're dupes or they're similar, because the colors, like when you first look at them, they practically look the same. Today I'm gonna be playing with this one, but if I want to dive into this one a little bit, I'll probably just mix them together. I am not gonna apply any primer. I did apply a little bit of that concealer, and I did set it with a little bit of powder, so that's what we're gonna be working with. I'm gonna start applying this shade right here, and they don't have names in the back, so I am just gonna point to whatever color it is. So I'm gonna start with this color all over the lid, and they are very powdery, if you guys could see. Now with the smaller brush, I'm gonna be taking this color right here, and I'm gonna do, yeah, these have, see, I'm sure you guys could see that these have a ton of kickback. I'm gonna run it into the crease. So now to intensify it a little bit more, I'm gonna grab a little angled brush, and I'm gonna take this color right here. Going back with that small brush, I'm gonna blend out a little bit the edges. Now with the flat brush and a little bit of concealer, I'm gonna clean the crease. For the center of the lid, I don't know if I want to go with this green. I think I am going to go with this green. I'm going to try it with my finger. It feels very, very dry. This one doesn't feel as buttery as the other shades. No. I don't know what's the matter with this shade, but I'm hardly able to get any pigment or anything. So I'm gonna go with a different shade on top. I'm gonna go with this one right here. Now with the same angle brush that we used for earlier, I'm gonna mix these two colors right here. And now for the inner corner, I want to apply a little bit of this gold shade right here. I'm going to apply a little bit, and if I like it, then I go on. If not, I'll use just the regular highlighting shade on this side. Wow. The other ones came through for that one that didn't work out. I'm gonna blend this out a bit more on the edges. Definitely different, definitely not what I was going for, but I'm not mad about it. For the lower lash line, I'm gonna start with the angle brush, and I'm gonna grab a little bit of that dark shade. And now going back with that smaller brush, I'm gonna grab a little bit of this darker shade. I'm gonna pinch it a little bit, and then I'm gonna run it in my lower lash line. So now I'm gonna do a little bit of an eyeline. I'm gonna be using the Wet n Wild eyeliner, and this one is the Breakup Proof Waterproof Liquid Liner. So now I'm going to be applying some lashes, and these are by Radiante Beauty. I got 4 different styles, and I think today they're all very pretty, as you guys could see. These are a little bit more fluffy. I think I want to go with the knees. Let me apply them and I'll be right back. And we are ready, and this is what the makeup looks like. So now let's go over the products that we tried today, and then give you kind of like my final review. As far as the primer goes, I actually been trying this for quite a while. If you watch my blush decluttering video, I was actually wearing this primer on that day, and I really enjoy it. At first it does feel like it's gonna be very thick and that it's gonna be kind of silicone-y, but when you apply it, it blends out very nicely. I don't think that it's very pore filling, at least not on my skin. I was still able to see my pores, but I do notice a huge difference in my T-zone. So in terms of helping with the oils and help your makeup stay longer, I do agree with the claims. But as far as the pore filling factor, I don't think that's the case with this one. The next one is the Tinted Hydrator. In terms of the foundation, I actually have been trying it for quite a while, and I'll insert some footage of the different days that I tried it. No, I like to try my foundations with many different primers, powders, and whatnot, and see what works and what doesn't. 1 in the morning. Like, are you kidding me? This is what the makeup looks like. This thing is amazing. I don't know if it's the primer or the foundation or the combo of the two. Also, the concealer looks really good. Look at my face, and compared to other foundations, I don't look oily whatsoever. This is to a whole nother level. You guys need to run and buy this because it's really, really good. And overall, through and through, I think this one is amazing. It has pretty good coverage. It's not going to give you a full glam effect, but it does give you a very nice medium coverage. You can definitely build it up. It does feel very light in the skin. It does last a very, very long time. And that's one of the reasons why I was very surprised. In terms of transfer, I noticed that it also holds very nicely when wearing the mask. Overall, I think this one is amazing. I personally am not surprised. Normally, Wet n Wild foundations tend to work very nicely, especially on my skin. So this one is totally recommended. I think for me, I would go with the darker shade only because the light medium, it still looks pretty light on me, so I think I'm gonna go a shade up. And talking about the shade, that is something that I have to mention. Unfortunately for this one, in the Ulta website, I think they only have 7 shades, which is a shame because it's a really, really good product. I just wish they had a little bit more shades. But then again, since it is a more medium coverage product, I think it's a little bit more forgiving. But I do wish they would extend the shade range. But overall, this is fantastic. I would definitely recommend. Like I said, I've been testing it out for quite a while now and I really, really enjoy it. Next is the concealer, and if you guys didn't notice, I started raving about it even before I actually gave you guys a review. This is an amazing concealer. It has very, very nice coverage, but then again, it also only comes in 8 shades, so that if you are able to find your shade on this, I would definitely recommend. I really love the like blurring effect that it gives my under eye. I tested with the foundation together, and I also tested with my e.l.f. Camo CC cream, and I also tested it with the Beauty Blender Bouncy foundation, I think it's called, and it just through and through, it works really nice with any foundation. I really love the effect that it gives the under eye. I do feel like blurs the area and it just looks very beautiful. It is very long wearing. Comparing to a lot of concealers that I've tested, I feel like this one lasts a pretty long time if you set it with a powder. If you don't set it with the powder, it does crease a little bit, but as long as you tap it, kind of like blend it again, it looks very nice. It does dry more in a kind of like a velvety matte finish. So if you have very, very dry under eyes, I don't think I would recommend something like this. If you have more normal to oily skin, I feel like you will love this. Like I said, I love the blurring effect. It smooths everything out. I wish I would make this into a foundation, but yeah, this one is amazing and I would definitely recommend get it before it sells out because it's amazing. The brow gel, this is not something that I don't know, for me it's a pass. I think it's okay. Like I said, if you have very full brows and you just want something to comb through, I think it's okay. But for somebody like me that doesn't have any brows and needs to make the most out of the ones that I do have, this product didn't work out for me, so this one is a pass. Lastly, the eyeshadow palettes. This one I didn't get to test out. I'm doing the swatches for this one as well, and look at how much fallout it has. This shade right here, this shade right here, and this one right here, they're actually quite similar when you swatch them next to each other. Obviously one just looks a tiny bit lighter than the other one, but the one on this palette, it's really creamy just as all the other ones. This one, as you guys could see, it looks super dry. I never apply any setting spray, anything like that, but it's really hard to get color payoff. But the one that I did test out was this one, and here's the thing, the colors are very pretty. The mattes blend very nicely. The shimmers are like metallic, like I'm sure you guys could see it on the screen with the lights. They're very pigmented. I didn't need to wet them, so that's a plus, but they do have a ton of kickback, especially the matte shades. It kind of crumbles a little bit more than usual. Normally Wet n Wild palettes tends to be powdery, but nothing like this. The shimmers are very pretty. They're very soft. They go on very smoothly, except for this specific shade. And this one was the shade that I was the most excited about because it's kind of like a duochrome. Depending on where the light hits it, I don't know if you guys could see it. It looks many different colors, but it's extremely dry. I tried it with my finger, I tried it with the brush, and you know when you go in with your brush and you wet it and then you go back and it kind of hardens the shadow? That's the effect that this has. And I didn't wet it or anything like that. It's okay for the $5 that, you know, but just go in with an open mind. There's a ton of fallout, and even though the shadows are very buttery and they look amazing, I personally don't think that a lot of people are gonna really enjoy this palette, just for the simple fact that it is very powdery and one of the shades doesn't really work. So take it with a grain of salt. I don't think it's my favorite out of all the Wet n Wild palettes that I've tried. I've tried other ones that were just a little bit better. And that's everything we tried today. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope the video was helpful. If you haven't tried any of these products, let me know what you think. Thank you so much for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe, hit that notification bell so they notify every single time I post. And I'll see you guys on the next one. Bye.